Okay, here we go. Technical difficulties. We are back. We're going to just dive right in because, yeah, we are just surrounded by feels. And let's do this. We've got the band right here. Let's get some nice pictures. More photo sessions of John in a fedora. Not a bad thing. Okay. Bridie Heidel. She writes in. She's a lovely woman. Like other Duranis growing up in the years before we could Google anything we wanted to know, my research about Duran Duran was found in the pages of Tiger Beat and Bop magazines. My friends and I read, and of course memorized, everything from their nicknames and birthdays to their pet peeves. Then, my Duranie girls and I celebrated their birthdays like we knew the band personally, making cakes and even sending gifts to England. I wish I could have been part of that. Where have you been all my life? Okay, so Simon's October 27th birthday was never forgotten. That is, until I gave birth to our amazing daughter, Hannah, on October 27th, 2001. I went days before realizing the stars in my world had aligned. It only occurred to me when a friend asked about her birth date, and I said October 27th out loud. Then, of course, I screamed, "Oh my God! Hannah was born on Simon's birthday! That's amazing!" That's exactly what Bridie sounded like, by the way. Exactly. My friend, who knew my love for Simon, said laughing, "Are you kidding? Of course he was! You've been manifesting this your whole life!" So even being a mom became weaved into my Duran heart. Love that. Love it. Born on Simon's birthday. That's just a sign of goodness to come. That's really cool. Michelle Disney Duranie, she writes in, my son decided to play the drums in high school because he loved the song Wild Boys. It was even his ringtone, and it was the first song that he put on his iPad in junior high. My daughter did not have the passion that I did, but the one and only time I met Simon was because she had the nerve to go up to him, and I didn't. She walked up and said, "Are you Simon Le Bon?" He said, "Yes." And she replied, "My mom wants to know. She's right over there." My kids also bought me the tickets to go to Vegas and to see Duran in July at the Kennedy Space Center, as they knew I didn't have the money to do it. So, fun fact for you, Andy, I would not have met you in Vegas if it weren't for my kids. Loving your kids. Very cool. Oh my gosh. Those are really great kids. There are some moms out there with amazing offspring. Holy cow. Wow. It's actually not too much of a surprise because, you know, the parents are pretty cool. So stands to reason the kids will be amazing too. Okay. There's a picture of the guys right there. It's vertical. Oh, I'm covering up. There. Fabi from Argentina. Big Duran fan. Duran Duran came for the first time to Argentina in 1993. I had been a fan since 1988, and I just couldn't believe my beloved band would actually come to my city, Buenos Aires, to play a show. I was beyond excited, and I wanted to meet them in person. I was only 15, but I really wanted to try. My dear mom was, I think, so tired of me going on and on and on about Duran Duran and their coming that she actually took the time to drive me to every five-star hotel in the city to find out where the band was staying. After visiting 4 hotels, she finally hit the jackpot. Of course, it was her going in and out asking about the band. I was extremely shy. She came out of the Plaza Hotel and said to me, "They are here, so now you can wait for them and I can go get a cup of coffee." She left and I stood by the hotel's door along with other fans. After 10 minutes, I saw Simon walking, getting closer and closer to the hotel. I couldn't believe it. He was human. I was really lucky. I met him, took pictures with him, and got his autograph. Although all I said was, "Hello, Simon." About half an hour afterwards, my mother came back and she asked me, "Fabi, did you see Simon? Because I did. I passed by him while I was on my way to Harrods to get coffee. God, he is so tall." I couldn't believe it. My mother met a Duran Duran member before I did, and she was beyond happy for me. Almost 2 decades later, in 2012, I took her to their Luna Park show, and she loved it. She said that having been to the opera and lots of concerts and events, she had never experienced anything like that Duran show, an experience she would never forget. It's been almost 5 years since she passed away. Not a day goes by that I don't miss her. Huge hugs, Fabi. Really, that's what a beautiful mom, beautiful memory. So cool. I can just totally feel like, oh my God, Simon's human, and Mom, you met him before I did. I can feel that. Christine Ray Olmsted writes in, I was about 8 years old the first time I heard Is There Something I Should Know on the radio. Needless to say, I was hooked. From then on, every time it came on, I dropped what I was doing, ran to one of our speakers, took the cover off, and put my head inside because I wanted to be as close as possible to the music. My mom would, of course, give me the obligatory lecture about how I would destroy my hearing, but I think she understood because she never made me stop. There's something really, really sweet and innocent and pure and beautiful about just like taking the cover off and putting your head in there because you just want to get close to the music. It's just something someone young would do. That's just really beautiful, Christine. Really, I love that. Michelle Garrow writes, I am proud to say that when my 82-year-old mom hears any 80s Duran Duran song, she knows the words and it automatically makes her think of me. She has dementia now, but old memories are still there. As my sons were growing up, they put up with me playing Duran loud and proud, and my 23-year-old confesses that he likes their music. My job here is done. I would say it is. Very cool, Michelle. Thank you. Okay. Amanda Franklin Whites writes in. I am a Duran mom. I've always been about Duran for me and, of course, sharing my passion with my two girls. They are now 16 and 17, and they have been raised on Duran Duran. They have seen them live twice with me. Back when they were 7 or 8, I got the chance to take them to a show in Toronto, their first show. I got them awesome little retro Duran Jr. shirts from Duran's site, and we had a magical night. It was October 27th, too, so there was a giant cake for Simon. The girls have also seen the band one additional time with my sister and I in our hometown of Calgary. One of my daughters traveled with me to Edmonton in 2017, and was lucky enough to meet John Taylor with me that night at the hotel before the show. My girls like Duran less now as they get into their own musical tastes, but they still have an appreciation for them and understand my passion. Their favorites are Perfect Day, Paper Gods, Skin Divers, and Cinderella Ride. Oh, love Cinderella Ride. Wow. Definitely don't hear that enough. Thank you, Amanda. Huge hugs. Laura Muther Schifferdecker writes in. Laura deserves a little page turn here. There you go. Okay, so I have one upside down and one right side up. Laura Muther Schifferdecker. In 2005, my son Adam was the youngest ever allowed in the VIP section at the time to see Duran on the Astronaut Tour here in St. Louis, Missouri. He wasn't even 3 yet. We had second row seats, and the day before the show, I was literally on the phone with the band's people, getting the okay while they were on the tour bus on the way here. As long as he had earplugs in his ears, Adam could attend. He stood on his seat the whole concert, singing and trying to dance without falling off. All the Duranis that we met thought he was a doll. They wanted Adam to go on stage since he loved Simon, and Simon noticed him, but he wouldn't. Later that night, Adam met the band members and exchanged a conversation with them at the Ritz-Carlton in Clayton, Missouri. Priceless moments, priceless memories. Adam never did share what Simon said to him. Quite the charmer, and still is now at 18. That's very sweet. 3 years old to a Duran Duran show. I'd say that's starting off life on the right foot. Tina Allen Gallo writes next. Being a mom and having my first and only son when I was 43 has changed the way I look at and feel about a lot. Since 1978, I have had a love for Duran Duran that has never been challenged. Now being able to share that love with my son makes my band even more special. I hear songs differently. They mean different things to me. When my son was a baby, I sang Leave a Light On to soothe him. When I hear Ordinary World, I think of how I want to show the world to my son, and that every moment we live is precious and should not be taken for granted. The only show my son has experienced with me was when I was 8 months pregnant with him, and no one knew I was pregnant because we had 7 miscarriages prior to this successful birth. I always tell my son his first concert was in my belly. Then 7 years later, I went to the same venue for my 50th birthday, and my husband and son got me and my Duranie friends a limo to see Duran 2 nights in a row. My son loves the band as much as I do. He knows all the band members' names. He knows John is Mommy's favorite. He knows many of their songs. He has a Duran Duran t-shirt, and he cannot wait to go to a concert with me when he's old enough. He's only 7 now. He understands how important the band has been in my life, and the fact that he loves them as much as I do makes my heart sing. I'm imagining your heart is joining a choir right now. That is my heart too. Very cool, Tina. Thank you so much. Patty Swanson writes in, I had a highly tolerant mom of my Duran devotion. I had my walls plastered with their pinups and posters. My parents were both from the greatest generation, before the baby boomers, so they were tight with money, being kids from the Depression era. I loved all the import Japanese books. They were expensive at the time, but my mom let me have all the ones I wanted. When I'd get one, she'd tolerate me gushing and proudly showing her my books. She'd say, but you can't even read them. And I'd tell her, it's all about the great photos. She also bought me a VCR and the videos to go with it. She was a selfless person. So was my dad. They never spent money on themselves, only necessities. So yeah, even though she thought my obsession was going to be short-lived, she still invested in my happiness. She also knew that I skipped lunch in order to buy all the teen magazines. I'd get $15 a week, $10 for lunches, and $5 for allowance. My sister told on me, but I still got the money. I ate like a fiend when I got home from school, what I wouldn't give to go back in time. That's really sweet. I would probably do the same thing. I would just definitely, eat crumbs and spend all the money on newsstands. Priorities in the right place, right? Okay. Michelle Hopkinson writes in. Linda Jones Greenberg's here. Hello, Linda. Michelle Hopkinson writes, I took my daughter Amy to see our boys on the Paper Gods tour in Birmingham, UK, December 2015. Amy was 10 years old, just a year younger than I was when I first saw them at Wembley in 1983. I don't know who was more excited, me or my daughter. I bought VIP tickets for the first time as I wanted Amy's first ever concert to be special. I had even thought carefully about where we would be sitting, well, dancing. Who sits at a Duran Duran concert? Being a Nick girl, I favor the right side, but I chose the middle so she could see everyone and have the best sound experience. We were in row 4 and had the best view ever because a couple in front of us left after Seal, who was awesome. Their loss was our gain. Amy was a bit starstruck at first, but not for long. She sang along with all the songs and danced along with me. She made Nick smile, that oh so gorgeous smile, when he glanced over and saw us cuddle dancing together. Nick glanced over and saw you cuddle dancing. Oh my God, that's so cool. That might be a good title for a Duran song too, Cuddle Dancing. Get such a picture. Simon eyeballed her a few times, as did John, and they made her night. I was so happy for her. We both had a wonderful time, and it was a memory I'm so proud to be part of making with her. There's a lot of levels of feels on that one. Oh, that's really lovely, Michelle. Thank you. Thank you. I feel better off for knowing all that. Thank you. Whew. Okay. There's the band right there. but it's kind of redundant, so let's get to something a little more. Oh, here we go. Well, one sideways. Okay. Debbie Rolf Umel. I am so proud to say that I raised both of my children on Duran Duran. Mandy is now 27 and Noah now 19. Both actually have a true appreciation and love of their own for the band, but my son especially does. Since he came out of the womb, he has been musical. Actually, both kids have, but Noah has always had an exceptional ear and talent from a very young age. He has been playing the drums since the age of 4, started singing at 5, and writing songs and playing guitar at age 8, the same age he was diagnosed with a developmental disorder called dyspraxia. A year later, he was diagnosed with Asperger's. He's had a lot of difficulties in elementary school and was bullied terribly. When he was in 6th grade, he decided to get up on stage and perform an original song called Never Again. It was about not letting the mean things people say or do to you. It was about not letting the mean things people say or do to you get you down. The audience of his teachers, peers, and community roared and mouths dropped, including mine. This young boy that was made fun of for being different was now seen in a whole new light. Duran Duran's music and Simon's lyrical style has had a huge influence on Noah. Because of Duran, he was introduced to David Bowie, someone he has covered on stage and dedicated an original song to. He did a vocal test and found his vocal range and sound which matched to, guess who? Simon! He's watched many of their concerts and documentaries with me, and especially loves the one directed by David Lynch, as he is also a huge fan of his. One day soon, he promises to record a cover of either Save a Prayer or Ordinary World. When he was much younger, he was obsessed with What Happens Tomorrow. He says Ordinary World is in his top 25 songs of all time, and if you could see the list of musicians and bands he loves, that makes this drumming Duranie mama very proud. He also does an alternative radio show at college where he's played Duran Duran, and he'd frequently text me whenever they played Duran in the cafeteria at college. Mom, they're playing the Reflex. At least this school has good taste. That's great. Oh, Debbie, great. Thank you very much for sharing. Wow. Okay. Barb Clavino writes in. Barb Ellendorfer Clavino. Got to get all 3 words in there. Not long after Red Carpet Massacre came out, I had my first and only baby girl, Caitlin Jean. I was overwhelmed by the love I felt for this little human, and also terrified as I really had no clue what to do with a newborn baby. I learned as I went along, and there were good days and bad days. She and I spent a lot of time driving in the car, as it was a great way to get her to sleep in her little car seat. Our car rides usually consisted of my listening to Duran Duran, and particularly the new album, RCM. I'll never forget the moment when I had a particularly challenging day, and I was driving us around Seattle, trying to stay sane, and She's Too Much began to play. All of a sudden, every word Simon sang made sense to me. I don't know if he wrote it about his daughters or not, but to me, that was what it was about. Before I knew it, tears were streaming down my face, and I had the most overwhelming rush about how much I loved my little girl and the realization how I'd do anything for her. I always felt this since the day she was born, but Simon putting those feelings into a song meant everything in that moment. I'll never forget that. I still tear up when I hear it. Yeah, I probably shouldn't dwell on this because I'm going to end up like that too. So, Barb, thank you really, truly for putting this into words. And now that song, I mean, you've given me a gift. Every time I hear that song, I'm going to think of you in this. So, thank you. It's really pretty special. Future generations are definitely in good hands, in the hands of Duranie's. I'll tell you that much right now. Natasha Lacey writes, the year was 1984 when I saw a commercial on MTV that stopped me in my tracks. Duran Duran was coming to Philadelphia! Elated, I ran to my mom to tell her. After all, it was she who, despite struggling with 3 children, having endured a divorce, and couldn't provide me with a room to myself, had let me plaster the bedroom we shared with Simon, Nick, John, Andy, and Roger. There wasn't a week she let me miss of all the teen mags filled with the latest Duran news. I gave her the tour news. A sadness seemed to come over her. Seeing my band wouldn't be possible this time. I understood completely. Throughout my life, my mom has proven to be a woman of many miracles, that one who made a way when all seemed impossible. She made my first concert ever on March 10th, 1984 possible. Duran Duran on the Sing Blue Silver tour. Thank you, Mom, for it all. For the Strange Behavior tour in 1987, for still asking what the band is up to these days. So happy you were there in the middle of all that craziness, and that's really beautiful, Natasha. Your mom was one of a kind. Very cool. Whew. Okay. And the last memory we're going to share today is from my friend Kitty Friel. Wishing a happy Mother's Day to my mom in heaven, Peggy Jean Ryer. She was a wonderful, gorgeous Duranie mom, always making sure my dad took me and my friends to the shows when we were teenagers, and always making sure we had the best outfits. All through my life, she would let me know when Duran Duran were going to be on TV or when there was a contest to meet them, and always cutting out photos and reviews in the paper or magazines and mailing them to me. So when she met Duranie, it was a match made in heaven. My mom would always scour the Dallas paper for clippings and concert ads and be so thrilled when she had a fat envelope for the archive. Maybe it's because Andy always sent her frangos? Who knows? Anyhow, I feel compelled to mention that my mom was always partial to Nick. She always did have great style and taste. Thank you, Andy, for bringing me closer to my mom, both then and now. I love you both. That was really special. Kitty, your mom was amazing. You're amazing. And, I really do think about, these incredible stories about mothers. And, like I kind of said lightheartedly, but I'm actually not lighthearted about it when I talk about it's no wonder these mothers were of this nature, because they passed that on to the kind of fans that that I know and love right now. I mean, it's really beautiful. You guys have shared so much, and all your mothers are amazing. Everybody deserves mothers like this. And to be able to share the band's magic with a mom, or to be a mom, and to just pass that on to your kids, it's infinitely, profoundly special. And I'm just really touched to just celebrate you guys. I mean, Mother's Day should be every day, and definitely tomorrow I'm going to be celebrating and thinking of all of this. And I wish I could just sit here and just rattle off all the names of all the moms out there, especially close to the band. There's Caddy, there's Wendy, there's I have to give a shout out to Christine's mom. Thank you so much for having Christine. There's so much goodness in this fan community, and I feel like I reap the benefits every day, every time I interact with you guys, every time you guys tune in with this. So on that note, I just want to say a quick note to my mom. I had to write this down because I know it was just going to be, escaping my mind. I want to let my mom know that all the ingredients that allow me to connect in profound and beautiful ways with fans around the world, that's the you in me. So thank you for helping to make me who I am. And every time fans write in about, something I've done that touches them, or every time that I realize that I have been touched by something someone else has done. You help create that. So I cherish our journey, and I cherish everybody's journey. We're all trying to make the best of this difficult situation, and it really brings us down to the very basic elements. Finding joy in big joys in small moments, and this is big moments, celebrating a big thing. You guys are amazing. I love you so much. There's so much appreciation for the moms, for the people you are, and it means a lot to have you guys here celebrating moms. And tomorrow it's going to be a whole day set aside for it, and I will read all of these memories over and over again, just privately to me, because I tell you, assembling them was just a real beautiful emotional experience, and I'm just really lucky to be able to share this passion with all of you. So thanks to you guys, thanks to your moms, thanks to Madison for assembling all this. It'll all be on my YouTube channel. No pressure, Madison, okay? Just take your time. But thank you so much for just being a part of this and for enriching my days the way you guys all do. It's just amazing. You guys are amazing, and there's so much love. Okay? Be good to yourselves. Find those joyful moments and just wrap your arms around them. Huge hugs to all of you, okay? Happy Mother's Day. Love you guys.